Well, it looks like we'll be making a correction. Saint Cesar de Bus. Or was it Blessed? Anyway, it was Cesar de Bus. Apparently a great catechist, but at some point in his life, he was living a frivolous life. He was a soldier at 18, living a frivolous life, living in Paris as an artist and a poet, and going to the wild parties, going to a masked ball when he has a conversion by seeing a statue of the Virgin Mary and being reminded that someone was praying for his conversion, and recognizing that he couldn't possibly go to heaven and continue to live the life he was living. He was not headed towards God. He was headed towards a wild party, is actually literally where he was headed. Pope Paul VI, I believe, in the reading of Laudate of this saint, gave a beautiful, maybe it was from the beatification of Saint Cesar de Bus, but it was I was moving, and I believe somewhere in there it's basically making that point that we need to make a change in our life, if we do need to make a change in our life, and most of us do. Constant changing. We're constantly getting off track and veering away from God, and then we have to turn back towards God. But Saint Cesar recognized that the way he was going, it wasn't going to work. It was not feasible. It wasn't, what's the word, the phrase? It wasn't going to work. He was going to end up in hell, basically. It was not a workable plan. It wasn't a reasonable, and we need to look at assess our lives, which he apparently did with the help of presumably now it was a statue of the Virgin Mary, but I'm guessing perhaps that Mary gave him a little tap on the shoulder and said, "Hey, snap out of it." Maybe she looked like Cher and said, "Hey, snap out of it." But, or no, I think Cher whacked him in the head to Nicolas Cage. But anyway, maybe Mother Mary gave him a little tap and said, "Hey, the way you're going is not going to end up well." And so I think Saint Cesar de Bus, Cesar, not Charles, forgive me. In the other video I said Charles. He apparently is a great example of that, and a great example of a catechist. And just the fact that he taught me, he's teaching me, reminding me of that fact that we have to constantly make adjustments, and that we have to assess our lives, which he apparently did in an instant, and recognize, am I headed in the right direction? I turn the wrong direction, I don't know, 100 times a day, 10 times a day, whatever. So often, when people see us, they should see Jesus. So often they see Mike. They don't see Jesus, that's for sure. So anyway, as Father Larry Richards said, it's a paraphrase from him. So let's assess our lives. Are we headed? Are we in the right direction? If we're not, let's ask Saint Cesar de Bus, the Virgin Mary, to pray for us, and the Virgin Mary to pray for us and get us back on track. Let's ask all the saints, pray for the souls in purgatory. Saint Cesar de Bus, pray for us.